the man, the myth, the legend, former USC and Vanderbilt and Tennessee Titans quarterback and host of the Momentum Pod. Link will be in the description. Mr. Mo Hasan. What's going on, Mo?
What up, boys? Happy to be here. How y'all doing?
Good, we're doing good, man. We're fired up. The NFL draft in Detroit this Thursday, and we've spent so much time talking about it. And I know Lukas has told me a lot about kind of your experiences and the players you've gotten to know and get familiar with. And one player that I could not wait to ask you about because you had him on your podcast is Caleb Williams, and you know the narrative. I see it everywhere. The painted nails. He's playing in the NFC North. I want your perspective on what Lions fans should expect when Caleb Williams enters the division. And with all the narratives, what's your take on Caleb Williams transferring to the NFL?
I'm always so interested in what people who don't know him think about him. It's just so weird, kind of like when you know someone on a more personal level and you hear things. I don't know. I scroll through my Twitter all the time and I see like anonymous sources talking about him. But no, man, Caleb. Let's see. I feel like there's just so many misconceptions, man. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good teammate. He gets a lot of like diva.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what do you think about the whole like how he's kind of like he has a feminine side to him, wearing the lipstick and stuff like that. So when you see those things, but then you're in a locker room watching this guy and being by far the best player on the field, where's the clarity between that, you think?
With the feminine stuff?
Yeah, where is it? Like, because I remember you telling me that it's just like he just doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like he just doesn't care what people think to the ultimate level.
Yeah, I think there's something to that where if you genuinely actually don't care at all what people think, and you just kind of act differently, I guess. I think most of us, myself included, like, you know, sometimes you read comments and you're like, damn, like, what's my boy going to think? What's this girl going to think? Like, there's zero of that with this guy. Like, it's on some, you know, Kanye West, Ryan Garcia level, right? Which probably makes you a better football player. Who knows? Like,
yep.
But yeah, I mean, he's into like fashion, obviously, so there's going to be a lot of different trends that people aren't doing. The nails, I think his mom is she does something with nails in that industry or something. So like there's like a connection there. I remember him explaining one time. But again, like this dude just doesn't care. So that's just who he is, man. And it shows on the playing field.
You think he's going to haunt this division? We're Lions fans. That's my fear. I think Caleb's going to be a hell of a player, and I think he's very worthy of the number 1 overall pick. What are Lions fans? What should we expect out of this guy? Is this the next 10? Is this Aaron Rodgers? We just get dealt with him haunting us for a decade plus, 2 decades. What should we expect out of Caleb as he becomes a Bear?
He's going to win a few Super Bowls, especially with what they're doing on offense, man. Like, I mean, I said this the other day. I don't even know why it should be a hot take, but I think he's going to be a Pro Bowler year 1. You know, like with that supporting cast, I've never seen a number 1 pick going into a better situation than Caleb has, like ever. Mm-hmm. You know, like DJ Moore is probably number 1 on a lot of teams. Keenan's coming off his best season yet. I think he's a top 5 route runner in the league. DeAndre Swift at running back. There's a lot of talk of what they're going to do in the first round. I heard they might take Brock, which would be really cool. I think Caleb's boys with Rome Odunze too. So like those 2 picks would be insane, either one. So they're obviously like very, very invested in having a good supporting cast. O-line's not terrible. I think they're going to add a few pieces there too. So like Caleb with those dudes is scary, man. Like I know y'all have a squad in Detroit, but I think the Chicago teams is going to be pretty decent.
Making me nervous a little bit over here. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to be honest. Just breaking it down like that. If they add Brock Bowers, it just scares me a little bit. Even
Super Bowls, Boone.
When I heard Super Bowls, my heart stopped for a second over here. You got, oh man. Hey Mo, I want to ask you this about quarterbacks as a quarterback on your own, and this whole the whole first round feels like it's just all talk is quarterbacks. What is your thought here with this whole quarterback class? I mentioned this on the show a couple times. I feel like there's a chance you do see, for the first time since like the 80s, 6 come off the board, just because there are teams, whether they're good or not, there's just so many teams who are looking for a franchise guy and who might be willing to kind of reach out there to go get them. Do you think that happens, or what's your thoughts on this whole quarterback class as a whole?
Dude, it's a really deep class. And like the guy I always talk about is Penix. Like, I don't know why he's so underrated. It's actually kind of wild. And like, there's always that like Teddy Bridgewater goes late, Lamar goes last in the first round. Who else recently? I mean, Mahomes still went top 12. What do you go, like 10 or something?
Yep.
But, yeah, there's always those dudes that go like late first, early second. You're like, how did that happen? Why do we overthink this? And I get like why scouts obviously are digging deep, because it's a huge investment. Like, your job's on the line. But sometimes there's something along the lines of like, don't overthink it. You know, if a dude can play, he could play. And that to me is Penix, bro. Like, it should be Caleb 1, Penix 2. Like, Penix should clearly go to Washington. Like, I haven't seen like that Penix season was on par with that Joe Burrow 2020 season, in my opinion.
You think Commander should take him too?
Yeah, I would. Would you go? Would you go Jaden over Penix?
I think I would, just because of the injury concern. I think you have to, because I think Penix is mobile, but he's one of the guys that are mobile inside the pocket, but Jaden can create plays outside of it. But I would agree with you that Penix has a better arm, but I think Jaden right now proved that he's a better player, because Penix was going nuts, but so was Jaden Daniels was going really crazy as well in the SEC.
He was. I like Jaden too. I like Jaden. I just think Penix is special, man. And I don't know if y'all saw the Athletic? No, the Players Tribune. He just posted this new article about like the injury. He had a cold line that was like, he goes, I think I would be more concerned if I didn't have the injuries, because not everyone can bounce back from it. I was like, damn, that was cold. Yeah.
And he did. He had like 5 like major injuries too, and then he still this last year went off and did what he did. Like, it's impressive. If he stays healthy, he's going to be a problem.
Yeah, there's something about guys too completing NFL throws. Like Penix can sling it. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like you hear sometimes, like in comedy, there's the comic's comic, or like the actor's actor. Like, at least for me being a quarterback, like that's the quarterback's quarterback. Like, watching the ball spin from this dude's hand, it's just so pretty. It's like, dude, it's like art. It's literally, it's crazy. Like, his craft, the way the ball comes out of his hand is so pretty, man. I'm like, I can't help but like watch it and just be in awe. I'm like, damn, this dude's a baller. So, but it's a good class. It's a good class.
Yeah. Mo, and talking about, because you've experienced it firsthand, and there's a lot of questions, especially when you talk about guys like Drake May and JJ, as far as transitioning into the NFL. What do you think the biggest step is? It could either be mentally, it could be physically. What do you think that biggest transition is from going from college to the NFL as a quarterback?
Oh yeah, not even close. It's mental. I mean, everyone can make the throws. Like you're not getting D1 offers if you can't make the throws. Like, your arm talent isn't getting all that better while you're in college, honestly. Like, obviously you're going to get marginally better, but it's mental. It's between the ears, man. Like, a college playbook and an NFL playbook are 2 different things. It's 2 different games. If you talk to a player who's made that transition, or a coach, like someone who's been in that, like, I mean, it's football technically, but it's not the same game. Like, you go from almost playing checkers to chess. Just everything that goes on, you know, pre-snap, the speed of the game, the windows, it's so freaking different, man. And like, I guess to play devil's advocate, there are different offenses geared towards like a more college style system. So like what Lamar is doing in Baltimore is different than, say, what Aaron has done or is doing, or something like that, a more traditional pro style. So like, there's ways around it, but still, man, the mental part is just so different, bro.
And Mo, thanks for joining us again. I just wanted to get your opinion from a non-Michigan guy. Well, do you think JJ McCarthy is going to live up to the hype? And where do you think the best landing spot is for him?
JJ, I am torn on JJ, man. I feel like he's probably the most divisive prospect. Like, you either love him or hate him. Y'all probably have watched a million times more of him than I have, so I'm actually kind of curious to see what you guys think too. But I guess there's something to be said about being a winner. I just saw a stat where he's had 3 losses his entire career, like high school and college, which is kind of nuts. But then again, now the counterpoint is Trevor Lawrence was kind of similar. And I think he's like 20-30 right now in his NFL career. So, and he's also like, there's also something to be said about an it factor. Like, the dude's clutch, man. And I know they didn't ask a ton of him, but like when they needed him on a 3rd and long, 3rd and medium, gotta have it passing situations where the offense is dropping dudes in coverage. Like, this dude got it done, and he's a special athlete. I think, like, so to me, there's the Caleb, there's the Jaden, and the Penix, like, top tier. And those are the dudes that I believe in almost any situation are going to have success. Whether it's winning Super Bowls or being Pro Bowlers at some point in their career, like, relative success, regardless of situation. And then there's the tier 2 to me, where it's like JJ Drake, maybe Bo, that range of dudes where I think they can also have a lot of success, but it's very dependent on situation. That's the other thing about the league, where it's like, it's all about context of staff and surrounding system. That's 90% of your career. Like, you can scheme the receiver to be a Pro Bowler who's just as good as a scout team guy somewhere else, just because of scheme. Mm-hmm. And so, like, those guys, tons of talent, but so much of it's going to come down to setting. Like, it reminds me of, like, the Mac Jones conversation, where if Mac was in San Francisco in Purdy's situation, would they be just as good? Would he be a Pro Bowler? Would be an MVP candidate? Probably, Right. And so it's like, anyone under that Shanahan style is going to have a lot of success. I kind of view those guys in that light. But
in Mo too, we talk a lot, at least recently, the Lions do need a wide receiver. And one player that Lukas put me on to, I like him a lot. You know him well, Brennan Rice. Was at Colorado, transferred to USC. It was Caleb Williams' favorite red zone target. Guy's a beast. We know the heritage, but can you talk a little bit about what Brennan Rice could bring to any NFL team, hopefully the Lions?
B Rice, that's my guy. Let's see, B's a good player, man. He's a big guy. He's a good route runner, big frame. I'd say deceptive speed. I don't know what his 40 was. I don't know if y'all know that, but for being a big physical guy, he's actually, like, beating dudes off line of scrimmage on deep balls. Like, he has a really good deep ball tape. There's a UCLA deep ball that I can see it in my head. I think he did beat him by like 2-3 yards off line of scrimmage.
Ran a 4.5, by the way.
Okay. 4.5 what?
I think it was a 4.5 flat. I have to double check that.
That's a good time. That's a very good time. Especially if that was laser, that's a very, very good time. Especially for being, I don't know, he's probably like 220 plus. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
Dude, this receiver class is crazy too, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just saw Keon. Really good receiver. I just saw Keon Coleman. Was it this last weekend, the week before? Dude's big as hell too. I didn't think he was that big. I was like, holy shit. I'm like, why are people sleeping on Keon too? I feel like there's so many sleepers you could take, like, second, third, and fourth round, who could be really good NFL receivers. And maybe that's why the Chargers got rid of everyone. Maybe they're just going to take a bunch of receivers, but I don't know.
I think so.
Mo, I want to bring this up too, because I know Lukas said that you have a good relationship with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and obviously here in Detroit, that is like, he is the guy here. Everyone loves him here. That is like the golden child of Detroit, going like for probably the next 10 years. Want to ask the relationship you had with him, and you probably have seen what he's done to kind of get to where he is now. After this year, he's all-pro player, Pro Bowler now for 2 years. Do you see him kind of just keep taking that step forward and being a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL for like the next 5, 6, 7 years going forward here in Detroit?
Yeah, Amon's a dog, man. Amon's a dog. The thing about Amon is, like, you look at him physically, like, he's not elite in any one area, but he's very good in a lot of different ones, which is better than just being elite in one area, I would say. Like, I had a coach that always told me, like, be consistently good, not occasionally great. And that's Amon. And there's also something to be said about being quarterback friendly. Like, Goff loves that dude because you can rely on him. Like, Amon's, like, very smart, like, football IQ is off the charts, knows where to sit in windows. Not the fastest dude. Again, to my previous point, like, he didn't run a good 40. That's why he dropped to, I think he went 4th round.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big reason why he dropped. Like, he just didn't test well. So he's not like that 6'3" dude running a 4.4. But he's so solid in every area required at being wide receiver. And the biggest one, again, is being quarterback friendly, which isn't talked about enough. It's like, do I trust this guy on a third and medium to, it's cover 2. He's sitting in this window. He's not running to get covered. And I know exactly where he's going to be. And I think that's like where Goff sees him. I think that's kind of like, I don't know. It reminds me of the relationship that like Stafford has with like Cooper Kupp or someone like that, where like Cooper's not a Blazer, you know, but they just have that relationship. So, I mean, dude, Amon's getting a crazy amount of targets and he's good enough to put up those numbers. So, hell yeah. I think he's a top 5 receiver already.
Yeah, and we just talked about Amon-Ra, but Mo, I know you recently just worked out with John Brown, the father of him. And what was that like? Because I know you worked out for the Dolphins like that same week. So after doing that, what was it like working out with John Brown?
He's different.
Different. Do you guys know about John Brown?
He was on Hard Knocks. We got to see.
Yeah,
we've heard of him.
Yeah, we've seen a few things about him.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Yeah, I think they've got like a few documentaries or something about him. But shoot, I knew John for the past few years because Amon and I lived together for some time. So like John would always like come by and all that. Okay. So Lucas was referring to the workout. So we did a workout with John, and it was the most difficult workout I've done in my entire life. Like I've been playing football since I was 4 or 5 years old, like training all around the world, whatever. It wasn't even close. Like within 5 to 10 minutes, I was on the ground, like damn near throwing up. and no running. This is all just lifting weights, which makes zero sense. I understand. Like if you're listening to this and you're like, this dude sounds stupid, I agree with you. It sounds dumb. But I'm telling you, and I couldn't tap out. I was like, I had too much pride. So I had to thug it out. But anyways, the next day I wake up and I can't move at all. Like can't extend my arms, just suffering, just pain, all of the above. And then I literally got that very next day, I got a call and a text from like the assistant GM for the Dolphins. Like, hey, like we want to see you, come in for a workout. And I'm like, I mean, I'm very excited, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, like, how am I going to do this? I physically like don't think I could throw a football right now. And I was with my boy who like canceled all his workouts for the next like 2-3 days. He's like, I can't move. So I'm like, damn, dude, I got to figure this out. It was like one of the biggest opportunities of my life. So, I mean, just like the timing didn't work out. And I crushed the workout. I figured it out, but
Dog,
yeah.
Absolutely.
But John, man, he's so tough, bro. It's like the mindset part, and you see why his sons were so successful because he just instilled that in them. Like, bro, these kids learn like 3-4 languages, damn near perfect SATs, all went like Ivy League-esque schools, or like, I mean, not Ivy League, but like Notre Dame and Stanford, top schools. SC's a good school. 4.0 GPAs and like 40 offers each. So it's like it all comes from pops, you know. It's just so much discipline. I was like 20 minutes in, I was about to like walk over to get a sip of water. And the dude looks at me and he's like, dude, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna get a sip right now. And he goes, are you dying? I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm not dying. And he's like, good. So just swallow your saliva. I'm like,
I fucking hate when people say that. I hate that.
And it's like, bro, you can't say anything to that. So I'm like, all right, I guess, dude. And I have like the worst cotton mouth of all time. Like I'm just spinning. Dude, I'm like about to throw up. I'm like, damn, dog. Like I gotta figure out another 40 minutes of this. So.
Jesus.
Well, Mo, we got the draft Thursday, obviously. Who's one guy in your mind, absolute steal? Like you're calling your shot, like he's going to be that guy.
Can you say that last part one more time?
I said we got the draft coming up Thursday. Who's a guy that you're just calling your shot? He will be an absolute steal in the draft.
All right, besides Penix, because we already talked about him.
Yeah, besides Penix. It's fair.
A guy in the draft that's going to be an absolute steal. I mean, okay. Well, this is going to be very, very biased, but like I could talk a lot about the SC guys. I've also gotten to know the guys pretty well just from I threw like Miami's Pro Day Hurricanes recently, like a few weeks ago. And I've just known those guys from like training down here. I'm from Miami. But I'm really high on Cam Kitchens, the safety down here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
Yep.
But his sophomore year, All-American, first team All-American, had I don't know how many picks he had, but like I feel like almost every game I watched, this dude's around the ball.
And he's huge too.
He's not huge. He's strong. Are you talking about like height or just weight?
Like he's built.
Oh yeah, he's strong. He's a strong dude. Yeah. He's like there's certain dudes who just have a knack for being around the ball, and obviously that's what you want as a safety, free safety. That's just Cam, dude. Like he's a baller, and what's honestly more impressive is his leadership. Like as a sophomore, like Miami's not an easy locker room to handle. Like these are some dogs down there. Mm-hmm. And Cam as like an 18, 19-year-old commanding the respect of an entire defense from the Miami Hurricanes. Like the stories I heard from Cam setting up team meetings on his own. Everyone's there on time, like as if like he's the head coach, you know, like no one's messing around. It's like, oh shit, like Cam just called a meeting. Like I have to be there 10 minutes early. Like no one's rolling in late. So I think that's like, dude, the maturity there is really, really fascinating. I was literally just thinking about this earlier. Like I could see a scenario where like within 3-4 years, like this dude's a top 5 safety, and I really believe it.
Sounds like a Dan Campbell guy.
Honestly, yeah, and the football IQ. So we had him on the podcast too, and like this dude's just a film rat. Like he just lives in the film room. So like the combination of like the work ethic, the leadership, and just the knack for being around the ball, like, I mean, Cam's that dude, man. Big fan of Cam.
Sounds like a Detroit Lion to me.
Bring him home. Just bring him home.
Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes type of guy.
Do you guys have a second rounder? Because he might fall to the second.
Yeah, he goes. We have 61. Because I think when I've been seeing him, he's been like late second, third round type of pick. Because I'm trying to think that. Because I've been seeing, as far as safety goes, it's like DeJean number 1 because he's obviously corner right now, but he's projected to move to safety. Then Caleb Bullock.
That's crazy, bro. Because he's white. That's crazy.
Hey, I was gonna say, I'm all for the cracker back. I'm all for the cracker back. For being realistic. But then you got your Caleb Bullock, your boy out of SC, and then it's like Cam Kitchens. That's where I see. That's what I've been seeing. I don't know if that's how it will fall like exactly, but as far as like the pre-draft narrative, that's how it's been. What about Caleb Bullock? What do you think about him?
Yeah, Caleb's really good. He's another dude, just again, knack for being around the ball. He came in as a freshman. We called him Sticks. I mean, we still call him Sticks just from being so skinny. But he came in, bro, dude probably weighed there's no way he weighed more than 160. Something really? Like that. And like with that height, looked really skinny, you know? Like you could be 160 at like 5'9", and it won't look terrible. But he's like a tall dude, tall, rangy guy. You know, I mean, he was like 17, 18, right? So not faulting him, but we couldn't, and it was a very talented room, you know, it's USC, all top recruits, couldn't leave him off the field just because he was always around the ball. Like somehow just has like a sixth sense of, and I mean, I've asked him about it and I'm not even sure he knows how to explain it. Like he just somehow knows how to be. Like I've heard people talk about Tyrann Mathieu in the same way. I know a few guys that played on the Chiefs, and they say the same exact thing. He just has a sixth sense. Like he just knows. It's like freaking the Force from Star Wars or something, bro. Like I don't even know how to explain it. And then like he filled out. Like dude's a grinder. Like he knew he was really skinny, so like I would always, anytime I was in the weight room, Kalen was in there, always grinding. He knew he needed to put on weight, and he did. He gained a ton of weight. He got way stronger, faster. So he filled out. So yeah, that's another dude who was like an All-American. So I like Kalen. He's a good guy.
Yeah, and again, we appreciate you, Mo. Great stuff. You can check out Mo on his podcast, which he does, and you can check it out. We'll have the link in the description at Momentum Pod on all platforms. Gotta have you on again, man. We appreciate.
Yeah, I want to. At some point, Mo said he doesn't know a bunch about JJ McCarthy, so at some point, I would like to break a little bit of down for him for JJ McCarthy.
Oh my god!
Dude, you never told me about JJ. Give it to me, man. Give it to me.
Well,
you don't want to hear.
I want to say this because the argument against JJ McCarthy is he hasn't had the reps and you know and I get that, like he's only passed the ball 17 times a game in his career. I just fall back on this, Mo, and you as a quarterback maybe understand this a little bit. Looking at some of these guys, it's like Michael Penix. Like just look at some of the throws he can make, and when you get to the NFL, can he do that? Can you get him to do that consistently if he's in a good position? I think a lot of people are getting caught up, and he played in a weird offense that was run first at Michigan. So that throws everyone off a little bit. And when you break it down and just look at his arm talent, the athleticism, and then the biggest thing of them all, and some people hate me for saying this, but you kind of brought it up a little too, Mo, about the mental side of the game when it comes to the NFL, like the pace of the game, being able to watch film, being able to make your reads, all of that sort of things. That's JJ McCarthy. Like, he is a guy that mentally, like, he's been moving up draft boards because he's had these meetings at the combine that they're like, this kid, he's got it up here. Like, he's all there. And if you have the arm strength and you're like that in the film room and you're like that in the, when it comes to the weight room and working out, and then on top of that, you have the athleticism, I just don't see how, if he gets in a good position, he fails in the NFL and he ends up being a long-term NFL vet at the quarterback position. That's where I'm at with it, Mo. I don't know if that convinces you at all, but I get a lot of slack here from the guys, and they come at me hard because I believe JJ, if he goes to Minnesota with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson, Kevin O'Connell, I can't see how he fails.
The media glaze, man. That's
just the truth. It's the only reason that people say that the media glazes him is because he didn't have the opportunity to do what Jaden Daniels did at LSU in that offense, or Caleb at USC, or over Penix in Washington. He just didn't. He was in a different offense. It doesn't mean he doesn't have the ability to do what they did.
Well, that's what I was saying. He's in that tier where the fit matters way more than like a Caleb, for instance. Like, that's what you're saying with O'Connell. Like, you've got him calling plays. You've got J.A., my guy Jordan, who's a dog. You got JJ and Hawk. Like, bro, you're probably going to have success. And he's obviously very talented. But, dude, I saw something where, like, his draft odds have dramatically gone up in favor of going second to Washington. Like, the past 2 days, they've like skyrocketed. I don't know if that's like
I think it's gone from like plus 2,000 all the way up to I think almost like plus 700. I could pull it up now.
Yeah, he might be the second behind Jaden right now. Yeah,
that'd be gross. If you had to make a pick, Mo, gun to your head, are you taking JJ McCarthy or Drake May?
Oh, JJ for sure. Yeah, I like JJ. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. My quarterback. Thank you. I'm with me and Mo. We're lockstep with the quarterbacks here. You're a lockstep right here.
Let's go.
We know
because I've been JJ over Drake May. People think I'm crazy for it, but
no, I don't think you're crazy.
What do I know?
It's just like what Mo just brought up. He's situation dependent, which I don't think is a bad thing. Like, dude, you need a good.
I think a lot of quarterbacks
need good coaching. I don't think that's a bad thing. But to go number 2, like what?
Jeff, a lot of quarterbacks, you have to be in the right position. Like, New England's such a bad position.
Absolutely.
Who's going to go there and like?
But I don't think
like
JJ
you think
can overcome. Right. That's kind of the thing that's how I felt about JJ. I like JJ, but like Mo said, there's certain quarterbacks, and I've told you this, that can overcome any situation. And there's certain guys that, like you brought up with Mac. I mean, Mac in San Francisco versus Mac in New England. It's two different Mac Jones right there. So that's how I feel about
it. Coker won a natty, Boone.
Oh,
I mean, come on.
Whoa.
Let's not start
there.
We don't need to go down that road.
AJ McCarron, may I add?
Don't need to go down those roads, man. If JJ gets to Minnesota or even Las Vegas, in my opinion, I think he ends up having a good career and he ends up being fine.
There you go.
And I'll die on that.
You might just die, but we appreciate you, Mo. No, I'm kidding. We appreciate you, Mo. We got to have you on again, man. Good luck. And guys, check out his pod. He's crushing it. He's getting great interviews. We'll have the link in the description, but we'll catch you next time, Mo.
Appreciate you, Mo.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate y'all, boys. That was fun, man.
Yes, sir. There you go. Mo Hasan, the man, the myth, the legend, host of the Momentum Pod, which, Lucas, you're out here. You gave us the connection there with Mo. He's a great guest. He's awesome.
He's awesome, for sure.
Certainly
knows a lot of people, and knows a lot of ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you love that, JJ.